I can start the proceedings. And thank you very much for your third visit. This is my third program. And I plan to have the program and on alternative days, but I don't know, even when March is nearing, I may go even on daily also. I'll plan. Otherwise, we will plan and do it. And my thing is, today's session is going to be the records and registers verification in tax. This is very, very important thing, because we are there to do the audit, but we want to know what are the records, what are the registers that we have to ask, and what are the registers we have to see, we have to do the audit, which form the basis for doing the this program is applicable not only for statutory audit, for any type of audit, whether it is a stock audit, credit audit, NPA audit, concurrent audit, forex audit, any type of audit. So this program, this records and registers are very, very important. I think I'll tell the importance of each and every record. Good evening, Charlotte, madam. Keep online. Okay. Records and registers verifications. This is very much important. And at this juncture, I want to tell one thing about Charlotte, madam. I think you can unmute and tell. Madam helped me in doing carrying out the stock audit at Ernakulam, and she has given a perfect report in my in support of my audit report. Thank you, Charlotte, madam. Yeah. Now we are going for the real presentation. I will tell the usage. Few portions I have covered yesterday and the day before yesterday. Anyhow, a few members they have attended the first program, few members they have attended second program. There are a lot of programs to be followed. And what are the records and registers that you are supposed to verify while you are doing the cash verification? You are entering into the batch. I have already told about the method of verification, that you can go and verify the opening cash, you can go and verify the closing cash, and you can verify the cash verification during office hours, and you can verify physical counting, you can do the cash verification and the method of clip verification and cover method, all the things we have already discussed. Now I am going to start with cash records and registers, which as a chartered accountant, as an auditor, you have to you please take note of it, because and also the importance of cash records and registers. I will explain something maybe repetitive one, but what I will tell the usage, because few members have not attended cash verification session. So vault cash register you have to see. Vault cash register or cash stock register is the register which the branch is maintaining inside the vault. While looking into the cash vault register, you can take note of the closing cash of that particular day or opening cash of yesterday. Everything will be there in the cash vault register. In the cash vault register, you have to see whether all the officers, all the joint custodian of cash, they have signed the closing balance, and the manager, he has to verify the vault register every month, and the inspection has to be carried out by the other officers of the other branch once in 3 months. So in that manner, you have to do the vault cash register verification. So first thing, whenever you are going for audit and when you are entering into the cash cabin, you have to ask for the vault cash register. And next to register is counter cash register. What is counter cash register? So whenever you remit the cash into the bank, you have to go to the cashier counter, you have to remit the cash. Whenever you want to withdraw the cash, you have to withdraw the money from the cash counter. The cashier who is sitting in that counter, he has to maintain a cash register. Few banks, they now maintain the cash register in the form of through the system. But even the cashier, though they are maintaining the registers through the system, they are maintaining the register still in manual mode. So if you happen to go to the cash counter and you can ask for the counter cash register, and you compare on test check also, you can compare the closing cash mentioned in the counter cash should tally with the vault cash, because sometimes they would have withdrawn some 10 lakhs. The branch has done transaction with the withdrawal of 10 lakhs, some release, and next year they will add and they give the credit to the vault register. So cash register, counter cash register, you have to ask, you have to go through it, whether the cashier has signed the counter cash register daily. This is the one you have to see. So verification of cash counter register is very, very important. And next one is ATM cash register. ATM cash register means branches, they are having some 2 counters or 3 counters of ATM. They are sending money by debiting the ATM cash register, and they are giving the money to the security agencies who are depositing the money in the ATM. So for that, there should be a debit entry. So if there is any debit entry, and you have to see that on the same day the cash is loaded into the ATM. So if they loaded into the ATM, everything you have to record in the ATM cash register. The other day I said you have to take the closing balance of ATM cash from the counter, and you have to take the when you go and verify the ATM cash, you have to take the printout, that is cash available inside the ATM. You have to compare it if there is any difference in reconciliation work. Sometimes other banks ATM cards should have been inserted. In that case, you have to call for the your transactions of figures pertaining the ATM ID made available by the National Payment Corporation of India, that is in switchboard, and ATM dashboard for the concerned ATM internally generated by the bank, and you have to verify the physical cash available in the ATM cassettes, that is cash trace. Everything, all records you have to mention only in ATM cash register. So the main thing you have to see is if any branch has released the fund towards that making the deposit at ATM, on the same day that security agency, he has to make a payment. Suppose the branch has released 5 lakhs, the 5 lakhs debit, and the same thing of 5 lakhs deposited into ATM, you have to give credit to the ATM cash register, thereby the balance is nil, or saying that the information you have to see is the ATM cash which the branch has sent has been or has been deposited into ATM machine. So this thing you can get from the ATM register. This is another important register with reference to cash. And another thing is cash in transit register. What are the important items that you have to see from the cash in transit register? Cash in transit register is whenever sometimes the branch is having some excess holding, nearby branches they want cash from this branch, they will send the amount to you send the amount to other branch. Further, they have to make the entry, and simultaneously sometimes the branch, in order to bring the cash below the retention limit, what they will do, they send the cash to the nearby chest branch of that bank. So in that manner, they are sending the funds to the chest branch. Everything they have to record in the cash in transit register. The thing is, the same day the cash has to be deposited at the other branch or at the chest branch. Suppose due to some problem, the person who has carried the cash from the branch, they are not able to deposit, or they are not able to go and remit the cash at the concerned branch due to traffic or some unwanted elements, or due to distance. The thing you have to take note of it, the van which carries the cash, they have to make the deposit, which is make the deposit at the some other branch of the same bank. This record you can see from the cash in register. That means it is indirectly or even directly, I want to say that the cash in transit should be closed daily. Either debit of, say, from Salem to Coimbatore, it is only 3 hours. In case Salem to it is 365 kilometers, it is 6 hours. Okay. If the van leaves from Salem around 4 o'clock, I can say that in the midnight, it is not possible for the cash van to carry the cash. So after 3 hours, they will make the deposit in some other branch, same bank, or sometimes some other bank also. So everything should be supported by the certificate that this van persons who are carrying the cash, they have deposited the amount in some other branch for temporary, say for overnight. Then after that, they will draw the cash once again. They will go and remit at the chest branch or some other place where the cash has to be transited. So for this, you have to see the cash in transit. The debit in cash in transit is towards driver's salary. Beta for the persons who are accompanying the cash, everything you have to register, you have to record in the cash in transit register. This point you have to see. And next to register is the chest branch register. Chest branch register means the branch is sending the cash directly to the chest branch. Chest branch means all the branches of the same bank, they are having cash. That cash pooling center is called as chest branch register, chest branch. So whenever any branch sends a cash to the chest branch, including the soiled notes, everything has to be recorded in the chest branch register. And the point which you have to see is in the chest branch register, you have to get a concurrence from the chest branch stating that this has remitted the cash on such and such date. Suppose if the cash has been sent by morning 10:30, say if the branch has received around 2:30, it is okay. In case the cash is being sent by the branch by 10:30, if the chest branch has issued a certificate stating that they have received the cash only on the next day, that means you have to ask one question. In the overnight, where the cash was there. So this question you have to ask. This you can identify from the chest branch register, and you can identify if there is any delay or if remitting the cash at the chest branch. You have to analyze the reasons and you have to put it in your comment. And next one, already I have discussed, you have to see the key moment register. Key moment register is the register wherein you can identify the joint holding of cash, joint holding of jewels, joint holding of documents, everything you can identify from the key moment register. You have to see that the key moment register is being duly signed by the joint custodian. Suppose A and B is they were the joint custodian. In case B goes on leave, he has to hand over the key to C. So, and the release, the B has to sign. Then C has to accept that he has received the key from Mr. B. So everything you have to identify from the key moment register. See, when this year you are going for audit, you have to be very, very careful that you have to verify the key moment register correctly. In case if anyone has not signed, suppose if you happen to see the key moment register, A and B signature was there. Suddenly, A and B was there. So when B has handed over, the details are not known. So if that is not signed, if that record was not signed, then you have to ask, you have to report that key moment register was not signed on such and such date. For this, you can compare if the staff goes on leave, the staff leave, that is, you can see this from the staff attendance register, and you can verify that that staff has gone out and yes, come. See, I will tell one thing in key moment register. See, one cashier has defrauded he has misappropriated cash. Suddenly he has handed over the cash key to some other person without making any entry in the key moment register. After 2 days, when they verify the cash, there was a shortage of cash. Then they caught hold of the present key holder. He said, "No, sir, I've just received the key, but I have not handled the cash. Only the other person who has gone inside, he has come out, and the previous cashier only has handled the cash." not after 2 days, on the next day, they found that there was a cash shortage. So this type of problem will be there. So kindly verify the key moment registers have been duly signed by all the officials. And whenever you enter the branch, you have to ask for the cash balance certificate duly signed by the cashier or manager on the date of your verification. This is a record that you have to keep it forward file. This is a cash record, cash balance certificate. Then after verification, you have to get a certificate once again stating that the cash verification has done by the auditors as well as by the present officials, and both of you and the officer, they have to sign the cash balance certificate stating that cash balance as per the book, as per the vault register is tallied. This certificate, this record you should have for you for your working and as working paper. Next, cash retention limit. So normally managers, where they will ask, sir, if you ask what is the cash retention limit certificate, what is the cash retention limit, the manager will say orally, but he was not in a position to produce the certificate. So you have to ask for the cash retention certificate, because the cash retention certificate is the which is the basis to design the insurance in case of any loss. So cash retention limit certificate you have to see, at least you have to see in soft copy also. If it is not there, then you have to give a report stating that I have asked cash retention limit certificate, the manager has not produced those certificates for my verification. Then other record is cash insurance. What is the insurance done? Because these are cash retention limit and insurance letters are the basis to be covered in the long form audit report, LFAR. So you have to ask, sir, to what extent your branch is insured towards cash, and manager say that, sir, insurance is being taken care of by the head office, we are not having any copy. Then you ask the manager to give everything in writing for your records. For your records, for your working paper, you have to ask to what extent the insurance has been done, and to why the insurance copy is not available for your verification. Everything you ask the manager, you ask him to come in writing. If you ask this, definitely he will try and call the regional office to send the copy of the insurance. So this thing you have to ask. See, you have to, now you have got an insurance policy through soft copy. Then in that they say that the branch cash is being insured to the extent of 15 lakhs or 20 lakhs. And if the daily cash exceeded 20 lakhs, say 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs, that means you can report that the insurance is not fully done towards cash balance at the branch. Or even you can say that I have noticed under insurance with reference to cash insurance. So this insurance letter, if the branch has produced the policy, then it is okay. That also you can keep it for your records. And if it is not there, then you can ask for the manager to produce, to state the reasons why they are not having the cash insurance policy. Everything you have to get it. This will form part of the working sheets, working papers. I want to further say that due to the modification that the that the RBI has done in LFAR new format, they have issued, RBI has issued new LFAR format in the month of September 2020. If time permits, you go and read the LFAR. Even I can vouch, I can say that at present there is existing LFAR up to 31/3/2020. It was a vegetarian LFAR. But this LFAR, revised LFAR issued by RBI, is non-vegetarian LFAR. I am using why non-vegetarian. That means it contains lot of specific points. If you fail to do it, then you will be caught. So that portion of LFAR we will see later. So you have to be thorough with the LFAR new format this year, and you have to specific. There is no test checking. It is not possible for you to do test checking. You have to do 100% verification. And if you are doing test checking, you have to produce the records in your LFAR. So be careful. LFAR for this period is from this period is almost you have to do all types of verification. So that point we'll cover in LFAR on a later part. Next record that you have to maintain. Yesterday, day first day, I have covered this records also and register also. Once again, for this purpose of presentation, I want to add this point. Jewel loan applications opening and close. You have to ask for the jewel loan application opening. Opening means there is stock of jewels inside the vault. You have to take the alive application. You have to count the applications, then compare this with the jewel loan stock. See, if there are 1,432 packets, then the same 1,432 applications should be there. If there is any excess application or if there is any shortfall in application, you have to ask the further reasons. One. And second one is closed loan application also you have to view and you have to do it. This application is the base. This application is based for the jewel loan verification. So opening application you have to do it. You have to verify it. Closing application should also be verified by you. Both the things are very, very important. You have to, in both application, you have to see the name of the, that is, you have to see the KYC norms. Apart from that, name of the borrower, signature of the borrower. See, another thing we have to see the name of the borrower, say Ravindran. But if Ramasamy has signed the application, that means the application is not duly signed. This signature or this mismatch in signature also you have to see. The other day I have not said that, but you have to see in whose name the loan has been applied and who has signed the document. Sometimes they put some scribbling signature. You leave it because if it is not readable, don't worry. But you have to satisfy that the application should be signed by the same person. One, at the time of closure of the application also, you have to see that the same borrower has he has remitted the amount into the account and he has closed the loan application in front of the bank official. This work you have to do it. Next one is you have to ask for that. So now you have entered into the vault. Now you have to ask for the jewel loan stock register. Say what is the total number of package is there inside is there. So everything it is clearly mentioned in the jewel loan stock register. Based on the jewel loan stock register only, you have to do the verification of number of packets. The slogan for verification of jewel loan packet is you have to touch the packet. This is a slogan which I used to say wherever I used to present the paper. You have to touch the packet and touch, sense whether something is inside and feel, oh, jewelry is inside and count. Touch, sense, feel and count. Don't do it fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have to touch, sense, feel and count. This is the slogan for verification of jewel loan packets. Next one is tray-wise stock. You have to do it. Auction register is different. It is on 4th point. So first thing is tray-wise stock book you have to ask. Otherwise, we can say that bin card system. See, every tray. So when you enter into the bank, you can visualize that the jewels have been kept into the almirah or vault on tray-wise. Tray 1, tray 2, tray 3, tray 4. For each and every tray, they are having some book or some bin card or some card is there, some sheet will be there. In that, they will say that some 2 packets they have deposited, 1 packet they have taken on this date, and the remaining stock is 2. So you have to add all the tray stock. Then you have to compare that with the overall jewel loan stock register. If the tray-wise stock is being tallied with the jewel loan stock register, you have to certify or you can report that I have checked. See, please watch. I have checked only the jewel loan packet verification. I have not seen the purity of the jewels. You have to be specific in your comment. I have checked the jewel loan stock register, and I can vouch that at the time of my verification, 12 packets have been tallied, and sometimes it will not tally due to some, because applications will be there, stock that is a stock in stock register will be there, but when you count, say there are only 1,432, but when you go and take this from the branch from the branch software, it may say that 1,338. That means 4 packets. It has, I mean, there are more than, there are 4 packets in addition to the actual stock. Then you have to ask for the reason why it is, why the stocks are more. Why the stocks are more. So you can say, you can assume that these stocks are due to the reason that the borrower might be staying outside of India, or some family members, they have closed the loan, but the jewels have to be returned only to the actual owner, and that too some family disputes will be there, and that too the borrower would have died and legal has would have closed the loan. But all legal has, they have to produce the death certificate of the borrower and legal hardship certificate of the borrower, and all the legal has, they have to come to the branch, and they have to make a joint request from the branch manager. The branch manager in turn, after the receipt of death certificate and legal hardship certificate, he will forward that letter to the legal advocate for his bank's legal advocate, and the bank's advocate has to say that the records produced by the legal has with reference to death certificate and legal hardship certificate are correct. Sometimes out of 3 legal has, 2 legal has would have come in person. One, they say that he will be staying outside the country. If that is the case, he has to produce that the person who is staying outside India, he has to produce the notary declaration duly signed in that country's in that country. That is, the borrower has to, that is legal has to get the signature attested by the notary public of USA. Suppose if he is staying in USA, any notary public of USA, and authorizing Mr. A and B to receive the jewels. So this you have to see. And the third one is actually I put auction register. Actually, fourth one is auction register. You have to see the auction register. Auction done during the year by the branch, that you have to ask. And because in the auction register, everything will be, you can see everything. This newspaper advertisement date. See, first thing they have to send the notice to the borrower stating that if you are not closed the loan, then we will go for the auction first. The due date, after passing the due date, they will make the newspaper advertisement. In the newspaper advertisement, they will go all details in full about the name of the borrower, about the weight, about the minimum amount, everything they will put. Then date of auction they will mention, and what is the value that the jewel will definitely fetch. Everything they will put it in the auction register. And all the auction register details will be there in the newspaper advertisement register. And in the auction register, they have to record the proceedings that the auction is being carried out, say on 13th of March, and who are all persons who came to the branch to participate in the action. All the action details, that is opening bid, closing bid, and amount deposited by the person who was auction, the person who has taken the jewels on auction. Every detail should be there. So these details you can find from the auction register. So normally, as a chartered accountant, as an auditor, including me, so now I used to see the auction registers. Some in earlier, some 10 years, 12 years back, or 15 years back, I have not seen the auction register. So now I started to see the auction register. As a statutory auditor, as a concurrent auditor, you have to verify the auction register, and you have to do the audit of auction register. Please kindly take note of it. This register verification is a must one. And newspaper advertisement register, so date on which the advertisement has come, what is the charge that the bank has paid. This charge has to be spread over. Suppose if the newspaper cost is 35,000 rupees, this cost should be added to the jewels borrower's account, because the cost has to be borne by the borrower only. So this point you have to see. If that is not recorded in the jewel paper advertisement register, what is the total cost? Total cost you must divide by the number of advertisements. Say if 15 jewels have been auctioned, the advertisement cost will be 45,000. So 3,000 rupees you have to add to the jewel loan account. So this point you have to see. Otherwise, if they are not considered this advertisement cost to be debited in the jewel loan account, then it amounts to income leakage. Whatever legal fees, it has to be debited to the concerned borrower's account. Whatever whatever paper ad, that has to be debited. Suppose in case any during auction, the branch has to give the beta or some incentive to or allowance to the person who has done the auctioneering work. So for that, you have to collect the, you have to make the payment. Every payment should, it has to be made, it has to be added. It's not made, it has to be added to the jewel loan account, and you have to adjust the amount expenses out of the profits. The balance amount only you have to adjust the loan account, and if any excess, you have to return to the borrower. If there was any shortage of money in the auction, that you have to once again you have to go for civil proceedings, civil case for the recovery. Next one is you have to get your jewel loan certificate duly signed by the manager for your records. What is the jewel loan stock on the date of verification? You have to get a specific certificate for your records. Next one is appraiser record. In appraiser record means, in appraiser, the date of application, date of appointment, duration of the appointment, and the commission to be charged by the appraiser, and whether commission has to be directly collected by the appraiser or can be given credit to the P&L account of the bank and debit the appraiser charges to the appraiser account. Everything you have to see, whether TDS is allowed for the appraiser records, appraiser commission, everything should be recorded properly in the appraiser record register. The verification of appraiser record register is very, very important. Sometimes the appraisal registration, appraisal appointment will be valid only for 2 years, but even without renewal of appointment of appraiser, the appraiser continue to do the appraisal work for the branch. So that means any appraisal done without the permission, without the appointment validity, everything is invalid. So as a chartered accountant, as an auditor, you have to verify the lifetime of the or appointment lifetime of the appraiser for your satisfaction. Next one is then jewel scale records. What is jewel scale? It is there any procedure to become appraiser? As told, yes, Nagpal sir, we are not eligible to become appraiser. Previous years, in the previous years, I want to say by influence, they will get the appraiser post. Now they have to pass the examination conducted by appraiser examination conducted by MSME industries. Every state they are conducting appraiser. So if already appraisers are there, you don't worry. Suppose if anyone is appointed as new appraiser, you have to see whether the appraiser has undergone training program conducted by MSME industry. That is very, very important thing. Then that you have to see. Then jewel loan records. Jewel loan records means, sorry, jewel scale. Jewel is a weighman scale. So weighman scale is the license towards that scale is valid for 1 year or 2 years, depends on the state. This license has to be issued by in Tamil Nadu, it has to be issued by the Labor Department. Tamil Nadu, that is in Labor Ministry, they are responsible to issue weighman license, weighman scale license. So as a chartered accountant, you have to see whether the jewel scale license is valid for how many years. If it has already expired, if it has already license has already expired some 2 years back and still they are using the payment scale without license, that point you have to cover in your report. So this is also another important record that you have to verify for your audit verification. Next one is securities records and for verification. What are the items we have to see as security? So security, there is a security stock register. You have to go and ask the manager, I want to see this. You don't know what is that in security stock register. You ask by knowing, thinking, and you have to say that, sir, I want to verify the security stock register. Can you produce the security stock? Suppose if you don't know anything, don't show your ignorance. Don't show your ignorance. I don't know anything. Some in few cases, even though I've got some little experience in bank audit, I asked the peon, can you tell the modus operandi, how these things we have to formulate? He will definitely come and help you. And another information I want to say that who is the professional informer of the branch is it is the sub-staff of the branch. Suppose if you want to get any information, you just call sub-staff. He will tell all the thing. Clearly he will tell because he is there for more than 15 years, 20 years. So he will know all the information. He is the person who is stitching the vouchers. So he knew everything. So first thing, whenever you are going for audit, you have to move closely with peon, but you have to keep him distance. You should not put your arm on the shoulder of that peon. You can say, Anna, can you help me? Brother, uncle, you can ask him. Even you call him by sir. Sir, can you come and tell? Definitely when you give respect, he will tell everything. So this is only human psychology you have to adopt to get the information from the sub-staff because he will be the professional informer for your audit. So please, whenever you're going for an audit, you just you have to be friendly. You should have friendly approach with the sub-staff, and you have to ask for the security stock register. The manager will come and keep. What all items will be there in the security? You can see unissued fixed deposit receipts. So normally they are issuing fixed deposit receipts. So there you will find the stock of unissued fixed deposit receipts. Next one is DD, demand draft. Now it is RTGS, now it is NEFT, but still the government officials, still some universities, they want the mode of payment only in demand draft. So unissued demand drafts will be there, will be kept inside the vault. That has to be recorded in the security stock register. You have to take stock of unissued DD. Say if they say that there are 732 unissued DD, you have to verify physically or test check. Then you have to compare this with the stock security stock register. Next one is TC, traveler's check. That also has to be recorded in the security stock register. Then duplicate keys of other branches and banks, this branch will have. Suppose your duplicate key has to be kept at some other branch, and some other branch duplicate keys you have to maintain. Your branch has to maintain. Everything will be recorded in the securities records. So you have to ask for the security stock register. These are the important items that you have to cover in the security stock register. Next one is balance confirmation from other branches. Suppose if the branch is having account with, say this branch is having treasury operation, this branch is having account with the State Bank of India or Reserve Bank of India or other banks, then you are going for the audit as on 31/3/2021. You have to ask for the balance confirmation letter issued by the other banks for your verification. Your branch records say that you have got that this branch has made a deposit with State Bank of India to the tune of say 10 lakhs. But if the State Bank of India balance say that it is 10 lakh 150 rupees, there will be a difference. You have to see why the difference has come. But this 150 rupees may be due to interest paid by the State Bank of India to this bank. So you have to pass the MOC, memorandum of changes, that this 150 rupees you have to credit to the P&L account and debit to the concerned State Bank of India. So you have to get the confirmation letter, the confirmation of balance with other banks, and you have to do some reconciliation work. The difference has to be adjusted. Even when, if you happen to see any difference that has not been adjusted for more than 6 months, that point you have to mention in your report. For more than 6 months, there are outstanding entries that have not been rectified. So this is the thing you have to see from the balance confirmation letter from the bank. So you have to verify the record of balance confirmation letter, which will definitely help you in doing the audit. Next one is investment record. So sometimes the branch has got some surplus funds. This surplus funds is due to the deposit amount received from the public. So for the deposits, the branch has to make the payment of interest. This amount has not been utilized by the branch. So here no revenue is there for the deposits, funds that the branch has, but here there's a commitment of interest. So in order to avoid this loss of interest, the branch, based on the instruction given by the controlling authorities in writing, sometimes they would have given some delegated powers. Sometimes after getting permission from the regional office, they would have deposited this amount. So the branch might have deposited this amount in other banks for the short period. We can call it as money at call and short notice. For the short period, they will remit for 15 days, 7 days, or 21 days. So on the due date, the money will be returned by other banks with interest. Thereby, the money is being properly utilized. And sometimes when the branch has invested money at the foreign branches. So if any money is deposited at the foreign banks or for foreign branches, who is holding the depositors? And another point is who on whose behalf the deposit is being made. Everything should be clearly mentioned in the sanction letter issued by the regional office or controlling authorities. Suppose the interest due on that investment has been paid by the bank, by the foreign branch or by the local branch to the bank's head office, then that interest belongs to you only, because the deposit is being made on behalf of the branch. So once again, you have to debit the investment and credit the interest and debit the head office account, because the branch has to collect the interest portion from the head office. In case if the deposit is being made on behalf of the head office, then the interest should be paid only to the head office and not to the branch. This branch investment recipient branch, what they will make payment, they will make the payment directly to the branch. If that interest is included in the P&L account of the branch, that you have to do the MOC. You have to reverse entry, because this interest belongs to the head office. So you have to debit interest and credit head office. So this is the thing you have to see from the investment made by the branch with other banks. For that, you have to call for the registers and you have to verify whether who is holding the deposit receipts. Whether the investment is made within India and the receipts you have to verify. And if the investment is made outside India and the receipts also you have to verify. Everything is clearly recorded in the investment register. This point you have to see. Now we are going to very, very important area. This is the real thing which you have to ask. I'll tell the importance. Proposal receipt register. If any person who has approached the bank, the manager on seeing him, he will ask for the KYC, he will verify CIBIL. Then after satisfaction, he will go for inspection. He then say that, okay, sir, you submit the application. So when the borrower, proposed borrower, if he has submitted any application, the manager has to record everything in the proposal received register. you have to ask for the proposal received register. There you have to make the mark. Next thing, yes, now you have received everything, you are satisfied. Now you have to process the loan. For that, you have to, the manager has to prepare the process notes, and this process note preparation should be recorded in the process note register. That is, to what extent they have sanctioned loan, on which date they have completed the processing, whether they have received everything or not. Everything will be there in the process note. Process note, once again, I want to repeat, process note is a professional opportunity area. Suppose if you have got very good link with the branch manager, if you have got very good link with the regional office, you can ask, you can request the manager, sir, I am ready to help you in preparing the process note. Process note, see, in my area, I used to do this work. I'm some banks they are paying me 5,000, some banks they are paying me 10,000 through the customers. Bank is not directly paying. It's a professional opportunity area wherein you can do the practice. So process note register, you have to see, you will see, or you can see all the loan details in the process note. Third one is, after that, the manager has approved that this loan is eligible for. So the loan is sanctioned, the terms and conditions, every details will be recorded in the loan sanction register. It will be recorded in the loan sanction register. So you have to ask for the proposal receipt register and see the process note, then loan sanction register. After that, yes, loan is sanctioned. First thing, sir, you have to go to the register office and you have to create the mortgage. That type of mortgage is called as MODP, that is Memorandum of Deposit of Title. Memorandum of Deposit of Title is prevalent in Tamil Nadu. I don't know about other states. I came to know that in Kerala, this type of MODP procedures are there. I don't know. I think Subramanian Ganapathy sir, he will tell whether in Ravindran they have got this MODP procedures or not, because you are there in Kerala, and Charlotte madam, you are also there in Kerala. You can say, is there any MODT procedures are there in Kerala? You can even unmute and unmute yourself and can tell. I unmute you and you can tell.
No, sir.
Yeah. Tell me, Charlotte madam.
Not in Kerala.
It is not there in Kerala. Hello, Charlotte. Yeah, you can unmute, and because you are in Kerala, if the members have got any, suppose if is it there in Karnataka? I think Asosh Sharma. So you should know the whether MODT procedures are there. You have to see the MODT register. And before that, I want to say one thing here. There are two records which you have to be very, very careful in verification. As a chartered accountant, you have to do it. You have to concentrate on the legal opinion given by the panel. So you have to be thorough with the legal opinion. You have to read all legal opinions given from the tracing of the entry to the recommendation for the mortgage. You have to compare this with the valuation, whether the valuation is being done for the same property that has got the legal opinion or not. This point you have to see. So understand, see, I will conduct a separate session on valuation and legal. That and I think this I will have on the next session or some other, within a day or two or within a week, I will conduct valuation and legal. That plays a very, very vital role in advances. So I'm going to have separate session. I plan to have separate session on valuation reports and legal opinion reports. So in the sanction letter, you have to see whether the legal opinions have been properly recorded. All the conditions stated in the legal opinion have been properly recorded, and as well as the valuations. Everything should be there in the loan sanction letter. Then now, before release of the loan, the manager say that you have to please go and register the document. There is nothing but creation of mortgage deed in front of the registration department. Then simultaneously, the bank has to record everything in equitable mortgage register. There is one register called EM register. You go and ask EM register, definitely they will produce, because EM registration has to be done at the branch level. If anything goes wrong, now some states in Kerala, we can say that when there is no MODT, you have to go and ask for EM register. EM register, equitable mortgage register, you have to see whether all the descriptions that is being stated in the sanction letter, as well as in the legal opinion, as well as the valuation, all the categories have been created, have been written in the EM register. If anything goes wrong, this EM register is the base that branch has created EM, equitable mortgage, then you can file the case before court of law. And Mike sir asked, sir, okay, Mike sir, no problem. EM register is there. Next one is ask them to update all loan documents. Ask them to update all loan document. What is all loan document? See, you are sanctioned the loan. So you have to obtain the documents. Kindly take. There is a document register or documents are there. It's a record for the branch. There is no register. The branch has to obtain the documentations, all documentation as per the head office prescribed format. All those documents have to be obtained on facility wise and not borrower wise. If the borrower has obtained a term loan, you have to obtain separate document. If it is obtained for a cash credit loan, you have to obtain separate document. Every document should be signed by the borrower. If it is an individual, then you have to get the signature from the proprietor. In the revenue stamp plus on the side. So with revenue stamp, without revenue stamp, you have to get the signature in the DPN. After that, they have to execute. If it is a term loan, then hypothecation of machineries. That is a format. All terms and conditions they would have written. Simultaneously, if it is a cash credit loan, hypothecation of cash, hypothecation of stock. Then, if there is any guarantor form, then guarantor signature. All forms should be there. For this, you have to read the sanction letter issued by the bank to the borrower. So you have to update all loan documents. You have to see that no documents left unsigned, no document left unfilled. If any, the signatures are there, but documents have not been filled, then that is an incomplete documentation. You have to specifically mention your report. Then encumbrance certificate, you have to take every year. So this is also another important thing you have to know. So ask them to update all loan documents for before audit, and you have to see whether all loan documents have been updated or not. Then loan files to be produced as and when asked. Kindly take note of it. So I have asked 5 files of this. You have to do it in your working notes. I have asked 5 files, but the branch would have produced some 3 files. So what about the remaining 2 files? Still, until completion of the audit, if they have not produced those 2 files, in spite of your yes, RBI to keep all the documents in digital mode. Yes, Nagpal sir, digital mode is there, but court still insists for the manual mode. So normally both the branches, they used to maintain the documents both in manual system as well as in digital. Digital means it's only scanned copy they are putting it. They are not having digital signature to sign this. They have got this scanned copy and they maintain in digital mode, just like in Aadhaar, just like in our PAN card in digital mode records. They are maintaining it. It's only scanned document. Yes, just as a scanned document. But original document has to be executed by the borrowers. So here, with reference to point number 7, you ask some loan files, but the manager has not produced. Instead of 5 files, they produce only 3. But in spite of a repeated request, if they have not produced the remaining 2 files, then that point you have to cover in your report. So in one of the areas where I have got some in one of the nationalized banks where I gone for statutory audit, I have asked for a particular loan file. The field officer say that, sir, all the files were with the manager. Manager, he was on leave. He will come 2 days later. Sir, I will produce a file on later part. I have taken note of everything. Then manager came after 2 days. Then when I asked him, manager said that no, all the files were with the field officer. Then field officer on that day he went on leave. Then I said, no, sir, he is the responsible person to hold the files. Then there I have found out that there was a big fraud committed by the field officer in those type of loans because they are not able to produce the files, and all those files have been kept at the residence of the field officer. Then it was a very big issue that has taken place. Then that field officer, he was dismissed from service, and the fraud, it was to the tune of some 85 lakhs because at that time this happened some 20 years back. So whenever you ask for the files, you have to list the file, you have to take note of everything in your record and ask for the files. And if they produce, just put the tick, yes, he has produced the files. Then if any file is not produced, you have to give that non-production of files in your report. Mail to branch manager for required files from the branch. Sir, Pramila, ma'am, Sumani, we are there at the branch. It is not possible for you to do the mail work. You just give the list, and if they are not produced, then you give everything in writing. If they produce, then keep quiet. Okay, it's a good suggestion given by Pramila Somani. It's a very good suggestion. But while doing the audit, every second we will not give the mail. You can go in person and you can get it. Okay, next thing is advances and records. You have to, there is one register called stock register. So if the party has obtained a cash credit loan, the party has to submit the stock statement as per the sanction letter, say within 7 days of the following the for 31/3/2020, before 7th of April, he has to produce the stock statement. Say 7 days time will be there, or 15 days or 10 days. You please see the sanction letter, the date of production of stock statement. So everything the branch has to record in the stock register. So if you are going for stock audit, if you are a concurrent auditor, if you are a statutory auditor, you ask for the stock register and see whether all the stock statements submitted by the borrower is properly recorded or not, and the manager has to arrive at the drawing power. Everything is clearly mentioned in the stock register. And if it is not there, you can say that stock register form is not updated. This will save you from lot of problems. Because if the party has not submitted the stock statement, if that is not recorded in the stock register, and if there is no stock register at all, then the branch has to charge penal interest against that borrower for non-submission of stock register. Make a list of files on paper and take sign of branch manager on it at the time of handover. Is it right? Yeah, that is also another approach, Manisha. You have also given a very good suggestion. You take the list, these files I want, so get the manager's signature. If you have submitted the things, then remove it. If it is not submitted, then you make the report. This is also another suggestion. It's a very good suggestion, Manisha. That is also correct. Next one is stock register. You have to see. Then stock forms file. See, stock register is second. The entry starts from stock form. The stock forms have to be filled, duly signed by the customer. The customer, he has to hand over the stock forms to the branch. The branch manager, he has to receive the stock and he has to arrive at the DP. Everything has to be recorded in the stock register. Then in the stock form side, the manager has to see that whether he is satisfied with the valuation done by the borrower with reference to stock. That is a separate column in the stock forms. The manager has to affix the signature about his commands. With commands, he has to make it. If there is no command, if the manager has not signed the stock forms file, you have to cover that point in your report. Subramaniam Ganapati sir asked whether this is in digital form stock register. Okay, it will be there. Digital form stock register will also be there, but it has to be updated. It has to be updated. Some branches they directly, instead of maintaining stock register manually, they used to maintain in the software itself. If that is that, it's very easy, because everything you have to see, you cannot pass the entry for yesterday. For today you are not. It is not possible for you to pass the entry yesterday. So if you are feeding it today, the computer software says that it is today. So this will directly lead you to calculation of penal interest. Yeah, this is also correct. And a request to the fellow members, please send the put the message in chat box applicable to everyone. Instead of sending direct message to me, you can because your question is a valid question that should be known to all participants. Kindly put the question in the applicable to everyone instead of direct message. Next one, you have to see the inspection register. Inspection register is very important, because before sanctioning a loan, the manager has to go for inspection. That inspection details has to be mentioned in the inspection register. Then after inspection, after sanctioning a loan, the receipt of goods. Suppose if the loan is being sanctioned to buy the machinery, the manager has to go to the unit to verify the machine. Yeah, machinery is there. Machinery has come. For that, he has to make the entry. A loan is given for to construct a house. The manager has to go for inspection, and he has to see, yes, stage construction details, everything has to be mentioned in the inspection register. So everything, whenever manager leaves the place, whenever manager leaves the premises to go for inspection, even for NPA recovery also, if he is going, that thing also he has to mention the inspection register. But one important thing, whenever manager goes for inspection, the inspection cost should be debited to the person's account, to the borrower's account. Otherwise, if there is no debit in borrower's account, then it amounts to revenue leakage. You can recommend that the manager has gone for inspection on such and such date, but he has not recovered the cost. So that is an income leakage area. So you have to verify inspection. So you just receive the inspection register, that you will find all the hits. If anything, based on the hits, you can come to a conclusion that the branch is in order or not. Then for the delegation powers, there is a delegation power circular. What is delegation power? Suppose the branch is being headed by scale 2, says manager. So assistant manager is scale 1, branch manager is scale 2, senior manager is scale 3, chief manager is scale 4, assistant general manager scale 5, DGM the scale 6, GM scale 7. So the board has given powers to all this category of scale 1, 2, 3, 4. They are delegated power. So to this extent, this person has got the power to sanction the loan. So for this, you have to ask for the delegation power register or delegation power circular issued by the head office, based on which you have to give a specific comment whether the manager has acted within the powers or not. So you have to ask for the delegation power circular. Next one is charge creation register. So whether the charge against the property has been properly created or not. So you have to create the charge before ROC. So all ROC details you have to fill it. If you have to create a mortgage before sub-register, you have to write all the mortgage details in that charge. For any loan, charge should be created. For any loan, charge should be created. For this, you have to verify the charge register, and you have to see all the loans sanctioned by the branch has been supported by the charge creation. For this, you have to verify the charge creation register. Next one is legal notice sent to the register. Legal notice sent register. In case the party has defaulted in making the payment for every month, in order to regularize a payment, before going for SAFASI, before classifying the advance as NPA, they used to send legal notice. Even they used to send the first they used to send the letters. Then after that, they have to send the legal notice to the borrower. All the legal notice should be mentioned in the legal notice register, the date, and the advocate who has sent the legal notice, what is the amount outstanding, and the register post acknowledgement details, everything will be there in the legal notice. Because otherwise we can say that if for SMA 0, they will keep quiet. If the loan becomes SMA 1 and SMA 2, the managers now they have been given very good pressure given by the head office. So for the SMA 1 category, SMA 2 category, what is SMA 0, SMA 1, what is SMA 2? The loan is due, and due from the due date, that is 1 to 30, up to 30 days, it is SMA 0, and 31 to 60 days, that is overdue, is called as SMA 1, and 61 to 90 days, that is called as SMA 2. Beyond 90 days, that account will become NPA. So the legal notice sent register, you have to see whether in all details, whether it is for SMA 2 or SMA 1 or for NPA, if any legal notice sent, it has to be mentioned, it has to be recorded in the legal register. Without making any entry in the legal register, the advocate should not be paid, because you should have evidence. So you have, because though the advocate notice charges have been debited to the party account, you have to verify whether the legal notice is being sent properly. Everything you can see from the legal notice sent register. You please ask this register. Definitely manager will produce. If the manager is not able to produce, then you have to mention that point in your report, audit report. This register is a hard copy form, while whole year records. Then how to verify all the details in for 3 to 4 days, how sampling could be done. See, Mayank, you are correct. Within 3 days, you have to complete not only one branch, 2 branches. Sometimes so it is by experience you have to ask. Suppose if you have got any doubt, you have to ask. See, you have to say, allot this work to your staff. You have to give them proper audit program, audit planning. So you have to see this. And if there is any discrepancy, kindly give the notice. So you yourself cannot do the entire branch audit. So you have to depend on your staff. So before giving the audit program, you have to know what are the records that we have to ask. So I'm just giving the importance of the records and registers, because when you go for the audit, you will definitely remember me. Oh, in the meeting he has said, we have to ask this question. It is only an experience I'm sharing it. I know that within 3 days, it is not possible for you to ask for all the details to be done, but this can be done by way of delegation of work to your staff based on the importance. This is a reply I want to give to Mr. Mayak sir. And suit file register. Now, the loan has become bad. Now they have filed a case before court of law, either before DRT or before High Court or before any tribunal. Everything has to be recorded in the suit file register. When an account become NPA, they have branch has to file the suit before DRT, Debt Recovery Tribunal, that is National Company Law Tribunal, even before, sometimes before the district court. If everything they have to file, so all details had to be mentioned in the suit file register. And another information I want to say that when you go for audit, and if any account is being entered as a suit file, you have to get a certificate from the manager about the latest position of that suit file cases. Kindly ask the manager before going to the branch. Also, you can send a letter stating that, sir, I want to know the latest suit filed cases position, because the branch in turn, they have to call for the respective advocates. They have to get the details duly signed by the advocate for your file. So this will definitely help. Sometimes the advocate would have got adjournment. So for the 7 years, you would have carried out the cases. Why? There are so much adjustment. So you are there. You can observe the reasons. You can give that point in your report. Then suit file register you have to verify, and the NPA register. So you know that there is one register called NPA register. From this date, an account is termed as NPA, non-performing asset. So this is that. This you can find from the NPA register. NPA working we will see later. So you have to call for the NPA register. And is there any new NPA identified during the year? Is there any upgradation of NPA? NPA means upgradation of NPA is from substandard to standard. So normally in NPA, they are notifying the standard to substandard. But in some cases, they say that substandard to standard if they make the payment. So everything you can find from the NPA register. Next register you have to see is AOD or revival letter. AOD means acknowledgement of due. Then RL means revival letter register. This why some few banks they are maintaining this AOD and RL register. AOD where this register is useful, I want to say. So when the borrower has availed the loan, they have to write the DPN, demand promissory note. A DPN is valid for 3 years. After 3 years, this DPN cannot be enforced before court of law. So before expiry of DPN 3 years, the branch has to obtain the renewal of DPN. That renewal of DPN is called as AOD or revival letter. So that they have to put it in the AOD and revival register. That register you have to ask, you have to verify. And I think my answer asked, is it possible? This is a very, very important thing. You have to verify this register. It's a must one. You have to verify. But this work you can delegate to your staff. But you have to understand the basic principle that because you have to educate the staff, they have to verify this. Then DPN register already, DPN is the starting point. This you can see from the loan register, from the loan sanction. The loan sanction date is the DPN date. Insurance register. So insurance, whether it is done for building, whether it is done for machinery, whether it is done for collateral security, whether it is done for everything has to be clearly mentioned in the insurance register. In insurance register, the name of the borrower will be there. Then insurance name and address, insurance amount, what's the total insurance amount, and duration of the insurance and banker's class, and the description of the policy. These are the important things that you have to see from the insurance policy. And normally on my observation, I want to say one thing. In insurance, insurance is done only for the only to the extent of loan sanction. Suppose if the loan is given for towards stock, it is with a 25% margin. In the 25% margin, that you have to see, because the loan is for the insurance is done for 300 rupees. Say it is a loan amount, but the insurance has to be done for 400 because in 400 minus 25% it works out to 300. So if that is the case, then you have to give that point in your audit report, and you have to see if the loan is given by the banker, say State Bank of India, then insurance in the insurance policy, State Bank of India name and branch name has to be integrated. Then if that is called as banker's class, that means that if anything goes wrong, the payment has to be made directly by the insurance company to the bank and not to the borrower. If it is not mentioned, but loan is being mentioned, loan is being sanctioned, and the insurance is done, and there is no banker's class, then the amount will directly be paid to the borrower or not to the bank. So you have to observe whether the insurance policy contains the banker class or not. For this, you have to ask for the joint class. We can say NACPOLSA, it is joint class. It's also correct. But normally, banker's class they used to ask it. It's a joint. It is not a joint. Suppose if so, joint class means the amount has to be paid directly to the bank and not to the borrower. For that, banker's name should be there in the insurance policy, and you are given the ad hoc limit register. Yeah, that is our ad hoc limit register. Even you can ask any type of registers, ad hoc register, temporary renewal register, then any, so that I'll say other registers, but this also, this register I think I have not included in my presentation. Ad hoc register. Ad hoc register is a temporary loan given by given by the bank to the borrower. So you have to see the ad hoc register. And last year MOC register. Last year the auditor would have done some NPA classification separately. So that thing they have to mention in the MOC register, memorandum of changes register. You have to ask for the MOC register. Why I said ask for the MOC register? You ask for the last year MOC statement and this year MOC statement. You have to compare it. Suppose last year if the outstanding, if the loan is NPA, say it is substandard, for this year it has to become D1. If it is D1, it has to become D2. In case last year the loan was substandard, but if there is no entry in this year, then you have to see whether this loan account is upgraded. But if there was no transaction, but in order to avoid NPA, what they will do, they omit this entry. So that should not be the case. You have to once again say that you have to give that point in your MOC. I did not get what is MOC. I think Mohan sir, you are new to the memorandum of changes. It is called as memorandum of changes. It is a memorandum of changes wherein the auditor disagrees with the branch classification with reference to profit, with reference to revenue, with reference to expenses, with reference to advance classification. If you disagree with the branch work, branch classification, as say the branch would have classified that advance as MSME, but you are not agreeable. So everything you have to give it in the memorandum of changes form. That this is nothing but the disagreement by the auditors with the branch classification. Everything you have to put it in MOC. You have to quantify. You have to. There is no qualification. There is you have to do the quantification. You can change the priority sector advance to non-priority sector advances. Anything you can give in the MOC. MOC means memorandum of changes. So last year NPA classification, this year NPA classification, you have to compare it. If there is any difference, then that point you have to give in MOC. Then current year MOC register you have to ask. Then DACC, this is nothing but guarantee corporation register. Now there is no loan. The branch they are certified by DACGC register, but sometimes in earlier years the loan would have been sanctioned. Still it was outstanding. So everything will be reflected in DACGC, Deposit Insurance Credit Guarantee Corporation. Deposit Insurance Credit Corporation, Credit Guarantee Corporation. This is nothing but the central government has given guarantee to the loan. If the party has not paid the loan, then we will pay the amount to the bank. So this is the where DACGC claim has been made. So everything you have to see, we have to view from the DACGC register. Deposit Insurance Credit Guarantee Corporation register. ECGC, Export Credit Guarantee Corporation. Suppose if the borrower has done any export, the guarantee you pay me the insurance amount, pay me the premium, then I will guarantee the payment. So this is called as ECGC claim. This has to be recorded, and you have to see that Export Credit Guarantee Corporation payment has to be done every year. That is an expiry period for ECGC policies. So please see on the date of audit whether the policy is alive or not. This point you have to see from the ECGC register and claim register. You have to make the claim to the central government. You have to make the claim to the state government based on the guarantee. You have to make the claim to the ECGC corporation, the Export Credit Guarantee Corporation. And if you have to make the claim, whether the claim is accepted, whether the claim is paid, whether the claim is refused, and you have to analyze for the reason. Everything you can see from the claim register. Next one is subsidy register. Sometimes the government say that in PMEGP, that is Prime Minister Employee, Prime Minister Employment, PMEGP guarantee, Prime Minister Employment Program. The government is giving some subsidy to the startups. PMRY, yeah, Prime Minister Rosa Giovanna. Now it is PMRY, yeah, PMEG, Prime Minister Employment Generation Program. Now it is PMEGP. Yeah, I can do a Prime Minister Employment Generation Program. For that, the government is making subsidy of 15% or 25% based on the category they are making payment. And this payment is called as this payment the government has to make to the bank. This subsidy has to be adjusted by the bank towards the loan sanctioned by the bank. But in subsidy, I want to share one thing. There are two types of subsidy. One is front-end subsidy. Second one is back-end subsidy. Front-end subsidy is a subsidy which the bank has to adjust immediately on receipt of the subsidy from the government. Back-end subsidy means in this subsidy has to be adjusted only when the loan is closed, when the project is closed, then only this back-end subsidy has to be adjusted. So all these details you can see from the subsidy register. If any subsidy is being squared off or closed, then you have to analyze the reason, whether it is a front-end subsidy or back-end subsidy, whether the subsidy is being adjusted properly or not, that you can see from the subsidy register. Another register is called as deposit lien register. This is a very, very simple thing. A person who has gone, a deposit holder has gone to the bank and you want a loan against that deposits. That deposit has to be returned in the deposit lien register. Now it is being mentioned in system basis, but previously it was the deposit lien register. In few banks, they still maintain deposit lien register. You have to verify that. Then guarantee register. What are the guarantees given by the bank? What are the LCs given by the bank? Everything you have to see from the guarantee register. Guarantee means, suppose if there is a financial guarantee and performance guarantee. What is financial guarantee? Financial guarantee is given directly on receipt or some deposit. They are giving some financial guarantee. If anything goes wrong, we are ready to make the payment. And performance guarantee, if the guarantee is given by the bank towards performance, and if in case of non-performance, the beneficiary can come and submit that guarantee to the bank, and he can invoke and he can get the money. So all details will be there in the guarantee register. This is the one specific column in LFAR. You have to give comment on the guarantee register. Guarantee issued during the year, guarantee invoked and money is not paid by the borrower, guarantee invoked and money paid by the borrower, guarantee invoked and not paid. So everything will be there. So everything you can find from the guarantee register. And loan return of register. Loan return of register is nothing but one-time settlement register, or sometimes due to non-availability of pronoun, due to non-identification of the borrower, it is nothing but bad debts account. In P&L account, we used to say that it's a bad debts account. So the loan has to be written off. Don't make the payment. So if for that there is one register called loan return of register, this is where most of the banks they are playing. You have to be thorough with verification of loan return register. Next register is surfacing notice register. So if any loan has become bad within, so the branch has to issue surfacing notice under section 13(2) of Surfacing Act, and all the details, suppose all the details have to be mentioned in the surfacing notice register. If the payment is not being done within 60 days from the receipt of the notice, then another legal proceedings can be initiated by the bank, as well as in the form of possession of the property and everything under section 13(4). So in surfacing, I want to make the fellow members to concentrate the provisions of section 13(2) and 13(4) of the Surfacing Act. If you are master in 13(2) and 13(4), you can advise your client with reference to reply. And 13(3) gives the opportunity to the borrower to explain why he has not made the payment. But this explanation may be accepted and may not be accepted by the bank. So surfacing notice register you have to verify, and LC register. LC is the register letter of credit. It is almost equivalent to LC register. That is, to import the machinery, the bank would have issued some LC to the customer, and this, based on this LC, the machinery is being supplied to India, and if the payment has to be made, if the LC recipient, he can surrender LC, he can take the money from the bank. So for this you have to verify LC register, whether LC payment is being made, and those payments have to be made by the borrower immediately after the payment is done by the bank. Then PC register. PC register is nothing but packing credit register. Packing credit is the loan which has been sanctioned towards meeting the export producing products. Suppose this is nothing but cash credit register for the exports. So for this, everything should be dealt in detail in PC register. This details will be dealt in another session with when I want to cover that loans and advances. PC is packing credit loan. This packing credit loan has to be used for the purpose of production of export goods. That's all. And bill discounted register. Bill discounted register. I have exported the goods. I have sent the goods. I can go to the bank and I can surrender the LR. I can surrender GR form and everything I have to surrender, and I'll discount the bill and I got the money. So this bill is being sent by the bank for to the foreign country for collection. When the money comes, all the dollar, that is exchange variance, everything is the profit for the bank. So in this manner, a bill is being discounted. For this, there is a separate register called bill discounted register. Then fraud register. That is now in this present audit LFIR fraud is being given a very big importance. So column number 4 of present LFIR, please read, wherein you are in a very, very dangerous position. If you fail to report, then you will be trapped, you will be caught. And in this fraud register, the fraud happened during the year, the fraud happened in the previous years, everything is being recorded. And what are the steps that head office has taken with reference to fraud, everything will be recorded in the fraud register. You have to ask for the fraud register. Next one is SESI register. SESI register is the register. SESI register is the register wherein all immovable properties which have been mortgaged in mortgage with the bank, they have recorded in the SESI register. It is also another registration form given by the government. One second. And this is if anything is not recorded in SESI. So just why I tried SESI expansion is Central Registry of Securitization Asset Reconstruction and Security Interest of India. This is the expansion for SESI. This is nothing but once again you have created EM. That is a different issue. But SESI, this is also another government thing. Any immovable property against which you are given loan, everything has to be recorded and registered before SESI. Because sometimes the property would have been in Kerala, or say Trivandrum, but those property has been given as mortgage at Tamil Nadu. So the manager, before sanction of loan, he has to verify SESI in this. It is nothing but encumbrance certificate created by the respective branches or banks. So verification of SESI is very, very important. The expansion for SESI is Central Registry of Securitization Asset Reconstruction and Security Interest of India. So this is another register you have to verify. Then system maintenance register. System maintenance register with reference to computer systems, about the performance, about the AMC, everything you can view. Disasters plan register. If anything goes wrong, then you have to see the plans that has been mentioned in the disasters plan register. Normally they have written, it's normally the disasters DPR disaster plan register is being created by the head office and handed over to the branch. So you have to ask, for your knowledge sake, even for report sake also, you have to ask for the disasters plan register. And in my experience, almost more than 50% branch officials, they don't know the location of disasters plan register. So you can ask this question and do it. And others ask for the stationary stock register. You have to ask for the stationary stock register and stamp register. Next thing is petty cash register. Petty cash is because the branch is giving some money to the petty cashier. Everything has to record. The petty cashier has to record the debit and credit. That is about the payments, about the receipts, everything in the petty cash. You have to see to it, and you have to see that whether in petty cash, capital items have been purchased or not, that you have to see. Another register called as suspense register, suspense account register, which according to me is the suspense account register, in suspense sundry assets register. There will be lot of scope for, because all the debits, all the credits have been dealt in the suspense account without reasons, with in sundry assets without reasons. So you have to be very, very careful, and you have to verify suspense account register and sundry assets register. And there is as well as bills payable, because sometimes the bank has to make the payment to the customer, and why there is outstanding in bills payable column, and as well as sundry deposits register. Then other registers are list of overdue deposits. Now it is system takes care of overdue deposits. Previously it was done manually. Pension suspense register. Yeah, that is also NAC also, that is also correct thing. I have not added pension. Now I'll take note of it and add in the next presentation. Pension suspense register. There are so many registers inside. It's a list of overdue deposits. Deposit is overdue, and when deposit is overdue, the branch has to send notice to the deposit holder. If the branch has not sent the notice to the deposit holder, you have to ask the reason why he has not sent, why the deposit, why that letter has returned, that also you have to probe. So whether even the bank has to make provision towards interest in overdue deposits also. So you have to ask for the overdue deposits, and also you have to ask for the list of inoperative accounts. This also you can take it from the system. For this, you have to ask two inoperative statement. One inoperative statement as on 31/3/2020, and another inoperative accounts as on 31/3/2020, and you have to cover whether any transactions are there in the inoperative register, inoperative statement, and if any inoperative statement has become operative statement, you have to prove whether huge amount has come inside or who has closed the inoperative accounts. Everything you have to take note of it, and you have to find in your report. And dormant accounts, that is before account is there, before the fund is being transferred to inoperative. Say if there are no transactions for last 3 years, so for the year 1 to 3 years, it is called as dormant. Then after 3 years, they will transfer the fund to the inoperative accounts. See, if in inoperative accounts, if those inoperative accounts have not been closed even for 10 years, the funds they have to transfer to RBI. That is Reserve Bank of India, but depends on the bank's policy. Then service charges circular. You have to ask for this service charges circular. This is a very, very important thing, because based on which you have to do the revenue audit. So you have to ask for the service charges circulars. Then other audit files such as concurrent audit, stock audit, revenue audit, RBI audit, inspection reports, everything you have to ask, and you have to do the audit based on the comments given in the concurrent audit, stock audit, revenue audit, and other audits. So all this is nothing but, even you can have to ask for the previous year's stock audit, the previous year's statutory audit report also. You have to ask all these reports, then based on which you have to do the audit. And another thing is log report. Log report means who has entered. This you can get from the system. They will put it back end. They will produce the statement there, wherein who has logged on the computer, who has come out, and whose password, everything is recorded. That is there in the log report. And the inter-branch reconciliation. Sometimes the money has been sent from branch A to branch B. This interbank reconciliation has to be done at the head office level, whether every debit and credit has been reconciled or not. What are the outstanding entries in the interbranch reconciliation is pending, that you have to analyze, and that point you have to give in your report. Foreign exchange details, which is as if any money is sent from India to abroad. This is nothing but export remittances and import remittances. And to this extent, we have purchased the dollars. To this extent, we have sold the dollars. Everything will be clearly mentioned in the foreign exchange details register. Then clearinghouse register. Sometimes not sometimes, every day, daily, the branch is sending the. Nowadays, it is through online. They are getting the money. The branch has to send the checks for collection through the clearinghouse. Then, whatever amount received, that has been recorded in the clearinghouse register. And if any check is returned, that has to be also to be mentioned in the clearinghouse register. Everything will be there. Now it is done systematic. In system is taking care of clearinghouse work. So you have to ask for the clearinghouse work. Even through the system also you can view what all the checks returned, why those checks have been returned, because under section 138 the case has been filed. When 138 of NI Act, that is Negotiable Instrument Act, case has to be filed only if the checks have been returned as insufficient funds. If the checks have been returned as not drawn on us, not related to us, not signed by all partners, no case, no check return case has been filed against the issuant. So you have to see, and there is a check return register is also there. In the check return register, you have to see the reasons why these checks have been why the checks have been written, all the reasons you have to see. And the self-help group register is also there. How many groups are there? Who are all the members? Whether it's a revolving credit is given, every detail will be there in SFG register. This is all the things I want to say about the register maintenance. And Nagpal has said pension suspense register. That's also a thing. That's a very good thing. I want to definitely add and agree with the members. And this is all what I want to share with reference to the registers and records, because records and registers are very, very important for you while you conduct the audit. So you have to be very, very careful. Don't hesitate. You have to ask for the, sir, I want to see this. Kindly do the kindly give me the register, so I want to verify. So you can ask, if you have got any doubt, you can ask, and I'll definitely answer it. And I mean, today's attendance is around 44 friends have come here, because I know that few branches they are conducting some bank audit seminar. Due to that, few members have not come. Next time they will definitely come. I can vouch. Even the registration will cost more than 100, because the topic is entirely that is very, very basis on which you are doing the audit. Thank you very much for the value addition and the sharing. Yeah, Geeta ma'am, thank you very much. And Mandela Satyan Narayana sir, yeah, thank you very much. And Shankar sir, I think yesterday or day first also you have attended. Thank you.
Sir, excuse me.
Yeah,
sir, all these registers still continue to be in the manual form. Is there any electronic change which is taking place? All the registers, whatever has been mentioned, whether any of them are been put in the computerized system?
Yeah, few. That is in the form of check return and even loan process notes. Everything you can find from the system. Previously, it was manual.
Okay.
Few banks they have mentioned they have converted into system.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's and Ganapati sir, if you want to offer any suggestion also, you can give, no problem.
Okay, thank you, sir. It was really nice.
Thank you, Mohan sir. Any doubt also you can ask, no problem. The manual and that's right. Every staff they have to send the attendance register manually. Digital, they are putting left thumb impression. Charlotte, madam.
Sir.
Yeah, madam. You can unmute and you can speak, no problem. Yes, Charlotte, madam, you are coming and doing, yeah. Very informative and good interaction. Thank you, Nagpal sir. And thank you very much. And members, they have started to leave the session. and I'll close the session now, and I'll definitely communicate, and I'll meet you in drawing power. If the trade creditors exceed stock, then whereas sir, if in drawing power, if the creditors exceed the stock, then there is no paid stock. The stock should be in negative. So there is no paid stock. The DP has to be taken as 0. Here, in case if there are no debtors, if there are debtors, the net of that is minus stock plus debtors, you can arrive at the net DP powers in drawing power. Okay, just thank you very much, and I will definitely send another information to you through my regular communication. And my request to the fellow friends, kindly forward the messages to your friends, even to your staff also. This will be helpful to everyone. And thank you very much. I'm closing the session, and we will meet you in a day or two. Thank you very much.